Hello viewers, today for the initial checking out of, we have a box of Panasonic telephones. It's the Panasonic KX-TG1031S, and if these work properly, this is one of the sets that we'll be using in the upcoming telephone setup, which I acknowledge is taking a very long time to produce. It is. That's just the way it is right now. So I think we have 6 handsets here. We got quite a few. And I also have this other model here. This is, I'm not familiar with this one. I don't think I've checked it out yet. So we got that for another day. So, let's get everything opened up here. Looks like this was all packed up pretty nicely. We've got power cords, the base, which is in nice condition, a couple more handsets. This didn't come with belt clips, but I do have some that I can put on here. Yeah, we got 6 handsets here. This is a nice big set. And we got some good bags we can use for something else. I think that the telephone testing equipment is all set up. I just need to plug in the power bar over here, which I will, we're going to need a large bar anyway, so I'll just put this one over here. And we'll use this. Come on. Power cord freak show going on here. Alright. Okay. There's that. Now if we take this bar and plug this bar into this bar, we have telephone testing equipment. Perfect. Looks like it all booted up and is normal. Okay, so these telephones, this is definitely one of the more nostalgic models in my collection. There was a relative that had a set of these for many years, and that relative's house was near where, at the dog store, the dog breeder that we got the dog from a number of years back. And so while we was getting the dog, we was at the house for some period of time, and I remember seeing the phones there, and that was kind of one of the first times where I started to really get into phones. This was in the early, it wasn't early 2010s. This is mid 2010s, and so that was kind of the beginning of the prime of my cordless telephone activities. And so I remember seeing the phones there, and I took down the model number, and when we got back home I ordered myself a set, and I enjoyed using them quite a bit. And I remember using these phones on occasion. Other times I was at the house there as well. I had to go around and turn all the volume up on each of the handsets because the relatives are a little bit hard of hearing and I could not hear the telephones. And those telephones were in service over there for quite a long time. I want to say upwards of honestly, upwards of 10 years it was in service there, and then the batteries gave out and they just opted to get new telephones. But as far as I know, they all worked properly throughout that time. They got a decent amount of use too. So these are good. There's no batteries. So let's put some. Actually, we'll plug in the base first. Otherwise, the batteries are gonna start giving out real quick. I think that these adapters are all the same. Just make sure there's not one that's a little bit higher power or different voltage. Nope, they're all the same. I remember the ring on these phones very distinctly because it's kind of an odd ringer. It's not like one of the standard Panasonic rings. In fact, there's really no other Panasonic models I'm aware of that came with this ringer. Here's the information for those that are curious. Made in China. This is the 1034S. So I believe that would imply it originally came with 4 handsets and it's silver. So either 2 of these were extra purchases that had never been used, or it was just expanded upon. These are all in pretty decent condition. None of them seem like they have excessive amounts of wear. They all look like they've been used to some extent though. Now let's plug up the base here. Put some batteries into the handsets. I don't even think that we're going to need to disassemble these for cleaning. They just need a good surface cleaning. They're not that bad. I'm hoping to be able to get a bunch of telephones set up before the end of the summer. Although I will say that the fall is kind of like the most nostalgic time to me for telephones. I remember I got a lot of telephones in the fall season for whatever reason. But of course in the summer it's nice to have the cordless units for talking outside. The buttons on these are very, very sensitive. I remember that about the ones at the relative's house as well. It's hard to believe that these telephones are getting to be 15 plus years old now. When I first got into telephones, it was let's see, very early 2010s, and you know, the phones are definitely past their peak. We've got a battery issue here, but there were still plenty of cordless phones in use, and some even still available. Now it's just, they're almost fully extinct. Okay, so that battery is not working properly. Well, one thing's for sure, they'll never be going extinct over here. I will be using a landline phone and all these different models for as long as I possibly can. And although some people have a differing opinion, I really don't foresee landline service ever going away completely. Obviously the traditional copper form factor was gone, but I think the VoIP service will be around for decades to come. Oh, we got another bad battery here. These batteries are getting pretty old. Had these batteries are probably close to 10 years now. Okay, so that's our bad pair. One of the charging contacts is a little rusted. That's very bizarre. I've had that happen on a handful of Panasonic models. Clean that up. Alright, I'm going to go grab a different set of batteries for this telephone. I got some more batteries. These are a little bit newer, so they should be working better. Not because newer is better, but just because they degrade with age. Well, as you can see here, that is not the case. Newer is not better. When I put those batteries in the charger, it was showing that they were, one was full and one was half charged. So why this is not working at all now? Is the handset spoiled? There's some rust in there. That must have gone with that cradle. Well, let's swap out the batteries with one that's working. The batteries are spoiled. What do you know? Well, that's annoying. Maybe they'll charge up a little bit. If those batteries do not start to the work, I should have some more down here that we can try. So we don't have to go through the video with it like that. We'll just clean these contacts right quick. A little bit of isopropyl alcohol should also take care of this. I just scraped the rust off of there. It's kind of weird that that happened. I don't know what's up with that. Much better. This one, I will scrape the rust off of the contacts here. There we go. That handset, oh, almost booted up. Alright, I think we're just going to begin and let that charge up or do whatever it's going to do. And if it doesn't start working in a few minutes, I will grab some other batteries. So, Let's see if we got any messages that came with this set.
No message.
Nope.
Answer off. Answer set.
Is it not going to show the greeting? Yeah, we're going to have to get different batteries for that. I'll throw those in the charger later and see if they come up. Got a box of cordless phone batteries over here. I should have some of those batteries. Actually, I should have a large quantity of those batteries because a lot of the Panasonic phones that took these batteries, 8 batteries, are crazy. Well, interestingly, these were pretty good with the batteries, both in terms of talk time per charge and overall battery life. Let's see what that does. A lot of these batteries in this box I haven't used in a couple of years, so I'm not sure if these are all good or not anymore. When I was cycling through these more regularly, they would all stay pretty good. I do have a box of is there batteries in here? No. Alright, this is really starting to take an inordinate amount of time to get to the material here. Well, I'm going to go throw these batteries in the charger for a few minutes and hope that they'll start to work. Just for the video, I grabbed these batteries out of another telephone that's currently in service, so we know those have a good charge and that they're going to work. Okay, so this is number 4. That's number 6. This is arbitrary, the ordering. I just like to have the handsets in numerical order. Okay, so now they're all charged up. That debacle's out of the way. We should get a fine handset for all of them now. Jeez, that's loud. A lot of these different models had kind of their own set of ringers and different sounds to them. This one is no exception. That tone I don't think exists on any other Panasonic model. Neither does that one. It almost sounds like it's struggling to load it. It's like not even time in the playback of the tones. I used to use that number 10 on the alarm tone. It's got a good range of volume. The buttons seem to all be working pretty good on this. Let's get the phone line hooked up here. Now, as far as testing calls are concerned, we're having some trouble lately because the weather phone, the local one that has the forecast for the nearby area here, has not been working for several weeks. I sent email to the promotions number, which I've had results with getting an answer in the past. So I was kind of surprised that there was no answer, but there's been no answer so far. I suppose I can call and record a message on the telephone number, and I can also call the I'm not sure exactly which branch in particular of M&T Bank it is that has the unit hosted on site, but I can try to call some of the local branches and see if I can get a hold of someone there that would know about the system and put a support ticket in. Unfortunately, I feel like that's going to be a complete lost cause, because most likely everybody there has no idea what the thing is, but who knows. Alright, let's give this stuff a call. Seems to all be ringing in exact unison. Everything got caller ID. The auto talk is not engaged. It's almost Christmas time. Only got a couple months to go.
Hello, we're not
Is
available now.
ridiculous.
Please leave your name and phone number after the beep. We will return your call.
It never gets old. I think the best one is with the Uniden ringers, when they're all playing different different songs with the same tone. Let's hear that one more time. It's kind of funny.
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep. We will return your call.
This is probably going to be a pretty serious feedback freak. The phone just broke. It's going to be a pretty serious feedback freak show, because each individual handset screens the call like a window screen. So there's a lot of microphones, or a lot of speakers picking up what I'm saying into this microphone. I think that the cord on this testing phone needs to be needs to have new ends put onto it, because it's a little dodgy.
Thank you for your call.
I forgot these did that. That is so stupid, because the caller has already disconnected.
New message.
This is probably going to be a pretty serious feedback freak. The phone just broke. It's going to be a pretty serious feedback freak show because each individual handset screens the call like a window screen. So there's a lot of microphones. There are a lot of speakers picking up what I'm saying into this microphone. I think that the cord on this testing phone needs to be have put and needs to have new ends put onto it because it's a little dodgy.
End of final message. All message played back.
This is probably going to be a pretty serious feedback freak. The phone just broke. It's going to be a pretty serious feedback freak show because each individual handset screens the call like a window screen. So there's a lot of microphones. There are a lot of speakers picking up what I'm saying into this microphone. I think that the cord on this testing phone needs to be have put and needs to have new ends put onto it.
Not a bad answering machine. It's not as good as analog one, but it's fairly clear for whatever it's worth. Alright, there's a lot of entries in the phone book. Let's see if I can... I'm at the phone book, the caller ID. So we had a call on October 6, 8:05, October 5, 7:39, 8:41, October 4, 5:16, 2:48, 11:08, October 2, 7:08, September 29, 5:52, 4:13, 4:06, 10:16, 9:45, September 28, 10:49, 10:43, September 27, 7:54, 9:38, 9:12. So it got a decent number of calls on it, but nothing too excessive. It's interesting to see the CNAM on the caller ID. I don't have that service on my line anymore, and so I'm used to only seeing the numbers. Although these phones have the caller ID phone book match, so we can type in the people that call me regularly. So on these units, the phone book and the caller ID is stored in the base. So as I cleared out the missed calls on this one, the missed calls clear out on all of the other ones as well. So now we'll go ahead and delete all those entries. That's not what I wanted to do. Erase all. I think that you can also go... Can you press this? No. So that erases one of them when I cancel them all. Okay. Now, is there anything in the phone book? No, the phone book is empty. Every dial has a bunch of numbers in it. 7-digit numbers. Now I can still use 7-digit dialing around here for local calls. Some people were saying that that's not a thing anymore, but that's not accurate. You certainly can for a local call. Alright, so I guess we'll call... Let's set the date and time, because that's not displaying. Is this just the copy? Yeah, there's the copying. Let's add a phone book entry, why not? bad glare here. I gotta pay attention to that. Okay, so now let's get out of there, and we'll go back to the phone book, and we're gonna do a copy all. And we'll send it to handset number 2. So we'll send that to all the handsets. Now, can you just copy one individual? Yeah. Okay, so that's the phone book. Set the date and time. It is 7:31. Wow, '07. The original time on here. I don't know if it was actually made in '07 or if these go back that far. It's possible. So if these are '07, these are almost 20 years old then. Wow. Wonder how high the calendar goes up. Can it go up to like 40? Yeah, I guess so. It sure can. Well, because we can be using these phones for a long time. It's just going to end up going back to 12 o'clock because of the way the line tester thing is. I don't have the time set on there. So now we've got the date and time on the screen.
Record reading after the beep.
Ah!
Ah!
Seems like the answer machine is working pretty good. Now I don't know what the keystroke is to get into this thing remotely. Well, I'm going to call back and I'll see if I can play that back remotely.
Press 1 to playback all messages. All message playback.
This is probably going to be a pretty serious feedback freak. Phone just broke. It's going to be a pretty serious feedback freak show because each individual handset screens the call like a window screen. So there's a lot of microphones. There are a lot of speakers picking up what I'm saying into this microphone. I think that the cord on this testing phone needs to be put and needs to have new ends put onto it because it's a little dodgy. Seems like the answer machine's working pretty good.
Monday, 12:36 a.m. End of final message. Press 1 to play back all messages. Press 2 for other functions. Press 1 to play back new messages. Press 2 for other functions. Press 1 to record your message. Press 2 for other functions. Press 1 to erase all messages. Press no message. Press 1 to play back all messages. Press 2 for other functions. Press 1 to play back. Press 1 to record your message. Press 1 to erase all messages. Press 1 to record your greeting. Press 1 to play back all messages. Press 1 to play back new message. Press 1 to record your message. Please leave your message.
Oh wow, this is getting really staticky. Not good. We're going to have to do some serious work on the telephone testing equipment setup here such that it's not so staticky in the future. The playback does seem to be a little bit clearer remotely, which is something I've noticed on a lot of systems now. I wonder if the amplification circuitry in the base speaker is just so poor that it actually loses quality beyond the quality lost in the digital recording compression.
1 new message.
Oh wow, this is getting really staticky. Not good. We're going to have to do serious work on the telephone test equipment setup here such that it's not so staticky in the future.
Monday, 12:40 a.m. End of final message. To erase all messages, press erase again. No message.
There's our tripod kick for the video. Okay, let's go over to the main line now, and I guess we'll have to call the Farmer Jones code line because that's pretty much all that's left. We have no more time and temperature from M&T Bank, although there are other locations we can call. The weather forecast is just not relevant to this area. We don't have the Harvard sentences line anymore, which really stinks. And we still, I guess we could call the weather forecast, but I don't like to sit on that line just for no reason, because the weather forecast line only has one line. So if one person's calling it, then it's busy for everybody else, which I have no problem with doing that to actually collect the information on there, but I don't feel good about calling that just for testing purposes when there's people trying to get real information from it. So like the Farmer Jones code line has 4 or 5 different lines to it, so I'm not worried about that. So we'll call with 7-digit dialing, just to show that that does work.
Out here in the blueberries and the vineyards and the crop line update. Blueberry picking next will be Thursday, the 1st of August. And you better get out here because these berries are amazing, plentiful, and they are not going to last forever. So, Thursday, the 1st, we're at the Valley Farm, 555 Walnut Tree Hill Road, and plentiful berries, box specials for the latter part of the season, and the free berry ferry ride to and from the field. And you can enter from 8:30 to 12:30 and pick till 1. And it's going to be pretty darn good weather this Thursday morning.
It's
so,
like 90 degrees and
look forward
humid.
to seeing you. We are
What is he
picking
saying?
fresh pre-picked berries available for you.
It's currently 8:41 p.m. It's 78 degrees over 92. This morning it was like 80 something over 99. It's not pretty darn good weather. It's pretty darn terrible weather. So the speakerphone is good on these. It's got decent volume. The automatic gain control is not the best I've heard, but for a handset speakerphone in the late 2000s, it's pretty respectable. We'll go through and check the speakerphone on all of them.
Wonderful charcuterie dishes and frozen strawberry lemonade and ice cream for the kids. Air-conditioned tasting room.
Gonna need
and
that.
no reservations.
Because it's not darn good weather. Darn nasty, sweltering weather.
Winery and blueberries in mind. Go to our website, jonesfamilyfarms.com. All your questions are answered. You can make a reservation for your spot in the blueberry field if you like. It's
Oops.
jonesfamilyfarms.com. And it'll only be lasting another week or 10 days, so don't delay. We're looking at pretty good Thursday, Friday weather. Bird in the hand's worth two in the bush. So spread the word. If you do need to reach us, email farmer@jonesfamilyfarms.com or leave a clear message at 203-929-62.
The earpiece quality is okay on these. It's not the greatest. I think it's kind of hollow sounding, not super lifelike, but it's pretty clear and it gets the job done. Okay, so the audio coming in is working on all 6 telephones. Speakerphone is working properly. The earpiece is working properly. So now we'll go ahead and call the make some calls to the testing message machine here. This is all staticky. That's the problem with the switcher. I don't usually show this part, but I'll show how I test this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the telephone and put it over here. I'm going to lower the fan speed on this equipment here so that it doesn't interfere with the video. So this is our speakerphone test. I'm going to put the telephone down. The telephone is on the table now, and I'm just going to keep speaking, and I'm going to move back away from the telephone. And as I go, I'll announce approximately how far away from the telephone I am. Right now, this is about 2 feet away from the telephone. This is about 3 feet away from the telephone. This is about 4 feet away from the telephone. And this is typically the distance where I like it to still be working pretty well. If it's not working at all at this distance, or it's very lousy audio, then it's not a great speakerphone in my opinion. This is about 5 feet away from the telephone, 6 feet away from the telephone. I should really start doing this in meters instead. 7 feet away from the telephone, 8 feet away from the telephone, 9 feet away from the telephone, 10 feet away from the telephone, 11 feet away from the telephone, 12 feet away from the telephone, 13 feet away from the telephone, 14 feet away from the telephone, and this is about 50. Alright, so it just cut off, so most likely it wasn't transmitting any audio, so the testing etching machine stopped recording. So I'll go through and record some stupid messages with all of the telephones now, make sure that they all work, and then we will listen to them play back on the testing etching machine. Geez, there's a stinking glare on everything in here. Well, sometimes you discover problems with certain setups, not until after you start using them.
7 new messages and 2 old messages. Message 1.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the telephone and put it over here. I'm going to lower the fan speed on this equipment here so that it doesn't interfere with the video. So this is our speakerphone test. I'm going to put the telephone down. The telephone is on the table now, and I'm just going to keep speaking, and I'm going to move back away from the telephone. And as I go, I'll announce approximately how far away from the telephone I am. Right now, this is about 2 feet away from the telephone. This is about 3 feet away from the telephone. About 4 feet away from the telephone. And this is typically the distance where I like it to still be working pretty well. If it's not working at all at this distance, or it's very lousy audio, then it's not a great speakerphone. About 5 feet away from the telephone, 6 feet away from the telephone. I should really start doing this in meters. 7 feet away from the telephone, 8 feet away from the telephone, 9 feet away from the telephone, 10 feet away from the telephone, 11 feet away from the telephone, 12 feet away from the telephone.
Message 2.
This is a test of handset number 1 on regular talk mode. I'm going to switch it to speakerphone now. I've switched it to speakerphone, and I'm speaking at about the same volume and distance as I was before. So this will give us a good comparison between what the audio pickup is like on speakerphone versus on talk.
Message 3.
This is handset number 2. I'm going to hang up this time using the button.
Message 4.
This is a test of handset number 3, and this time I'm going to hang up into the cradle so we can hear what it sounds like when you hang up directly into the cradle. And that is a sound that I miss hearing. The sound of somebody hanging up a landline telephone at the end of a call is just something that we hardly ever hear anymore. And that is a real stinking shame.
Message 5.
Hi Bill, it's Frank. I was just calling to see what your light bill was this month. I got mine in yesterday and it was over $500. I guess because we've been using the air conditioner all the time, every night for the last couple of weeks. Alright, hope all is well. Take care.
Message 6.
Hey Bill, it's Frank again. I also wanted to ask if you... Oh gosh. What is that? Oh no, I think that
I think that a skunk sprayed the electrical panel again. I gotta go. I'll call you later. This stinks.
Message 7.
Hello, is this the electricity store? My name is Frank, and I'm calling because I wanted to get a quote to have my electrical panel replaced because it got sprayed by a skunk and it absolutely reeks. You can reach me at telephone number 555-1234.
End of messages.
It was interesting to hear those hang-up sounds again. That is something I legitimately miss in reality. Whenever I would talk on the phone, I would always wait for the other caller to hang up, or keep listening until the other party would hang up, because I was always curious to hear what kind of telephones people would be using. Because you could tell to some degree, like if you heard an analog squelch at the end of the call, then you knew it was an older analog cordless. Or if you heard a little bit of fumbling and then a click, it was probably a newer cordless. Or if you heard it go right back into the cradle, it was probably a corded phone. And I just miss hearing that. I enjoyed it because the phones have been such a big part of my life, and I enjoy them so much, and I like them so much, and it's really faded out over the last couple of years. Back in the 2010s, when I first started doing telephone videos, they were starting to fall out of favor, but there was still plenty of phones in use. During the era of the Unit 1580, for example, in the early 2010s, they were everywhere. Almost everybody still had a landline phone, and a lot of people were still using them, but now it's just really starting to fade out. But anyways, I was kind of disappointed with the speakerphone on these. The pickup on talk was very good. It was loud and clear, but the speakerphone kind of left something to be desired. It was okay when I was in real close proximity, but more than 2 or 3 feet away and it faded very quickly. I'm a little bit surprised by that because Panasonic, most of the DECT 6, actually I guess it was more the 6 Plus phones that typically had really good pickup. Some of the 6 ones were decent too, but this is not the best handset speakerphone that I've ever used. I think that these were more of an economy model because it lacks certain basic features, including like backlit buttons. There's no backlit buttons. There's no talking caller ID, which is getting pretty common on Panasonic phones, even back in the 5.8 era. These were, if I'm recalling correctly, these were rated by Consumer Reports, which I'm not a huge fan of. These were rated by Consumer Reports as a like a Best Buy or whatever however they rate stuff. They rated these very highly, and I don't know what the retail price was for these. If the retail price was relatively low, considering in comparison to some of the other models Panasonic offered, then I would say that it probably was a Best Buy. It was a pretty solid, reliable phone, but it definitely lacked features, and certain things could have used some polishing, if you will. So we're just about ready to wrap up here with this video, but before we do that, one more thing I want to do is check the range. If I can successfully remove the camera from the tripod. I recall the range on these not being all that impressive, but at the old location there was so much hashing in the air from all that Wi-Fi garbage that I feel like a lot of the phones did not perform as well as they could have. So it'll be interesting to see how it performs here. I'm starting to get a feel for how, what the range is on certain phones, because now I don't have a big enough property to really exceed the range on the telephones. So the range is not as important to me as it used to be, but it's still interesting to see how the models compare. So we'll turn this on. We'll call the Farmer Jones code line again. We'll walk around upstairs, see what the reception's like in the house.
Out here in the blueberries and the vineyards,
And the crop line update, blueberry picking next will be Thursday, the 1st of August. And you better get out here because these berries are amazing, plentiful, and they are not going to last forever. So, Thursday, the 1st, we're at the Valley Farm, 555 Walnut Tree Hill.
So that static is not a lack of signal. That static is the noise in the switcher thing.
For the season and the free berry ferry ride to and from the field.
When you're checking the range, you always have to check it up against your person because it does make a difference on the reception. That's why I was doing that.
And it's going to be pretty darn good weather.
And it's still clear.
This Thursday
So we've
morning.
We've got good reception throughout the house. So the living room is the opposite side and upper level compared to the studio. So that's as far as I can go inside the house. Now let's go outside.
606 Walnut Tree Hill Road is where you come for your Christmas trees, and the winery's open.
It does have a signal indicator on there, but there's no bars, which is interesting because there's provisions for bars and a bunch of other icons that never get used.
Wine, including Blueberry Bliss and wonderful charcuterie dishes and frozen strawberry lemonade and ice cream for the kids. Air-conditioned tasting room and no reservations needed. That's the winery.
Oh, it rains.
So, again, with the winery and blueberries in mind, go to our website, jonesfamilyfarms.com. All your questions are answered. You can make a reservation for your spot in the blueberry fields if you like. Just go to the blueberry reservation portal on the website, jonesfamilyfarms.com. And
So the base is in there in that window.
As I say, the season,
That's the studio.
we're at peak season now,
And all the way
it'll
back
only be
here,
lasting another
still working.
week or 10 days, so don't delay. We're looking at pretty good Thursday, Friday
clear.
weather. Bird in the hand's worth two in the bush. So spread the word. If you do need to reach us, email farmer@jonesfamilyfarms.com or leave a clear message at 203-929-6237. And we do look forward to seeing you and your friends here. Some scrumptious blueberry picking.
Oh, the signal's degrading. Well, look at the difference.
Hello! Eats and the Vineyards. Line update. Blueberry next will be Thursday, the 1st of August. And you better get out here because these berries are amazing, plentiful, and they are not going to last forever. So, first, we're at the Valley Farm, 155 Walnut Tree Hill, and plentiful berries, box specials for the last part of the season, and free berry pie to and from the field, and you can get from 8:30 to 12:30 at the field farm. Other looking forward to seeing you with the pre-picked berries available for you at the field after 10 and winery, of which is up the road at 606 Walnut Tree Hill Road. It's where you come for your Christmas trees, and the winery's open every day now from noon till 6 with extended hours on Fridays till 7 with live music in the late afternoon. And award-winning wine, including Blueberry Bliss and wonderful charcuterie dishes and frozen strawberry lemonade and ice cream for the kids. Air-conditioned tasting room and no reservations needed at the winery. So again, with the winery and blueberries in mind, go to our website, JonesFamilyFarms.com. All your questions are answered. You can make a reservation for your spot in the blueberry fields if you like. It's just go to the blueberry reservation portal on the web, familyfarms.com. And
alright, so it's working okay. It's covering all the backyard. It does clip out once the entire house starts to get in between it and the base. And it dropped out pretty bad in the front, but the front of the house is underground, so you're going through a large chunk of earth at that point, so you can't expect much in terms of that reception. But I think if this is placed upstairs, it should cover the whole property with ease. And it does seem like this is working a little better than it did at the old location. Because I remember when I first got these, I set it up. Actually, ironically, it was a rainy day like today. I set these up and I took it outside to where I used to have my patio in the woods there, and it was clipping out already, and the base was upstairs in the bedroom with the computer room, so it was not a far distance. It was just about a clear shot, so pretty limited range at the old location, but as I suspected, it's working better here. So it's a pretty good set of phones. I really enjoy using it, very nostalgic set, and I'm excited to get these set up for use around the house.